Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Comeback Sports. We give you 10 sports topics of the week, 10 of the hottest topics going on in sports across the board. I am your host, Pat the Shot Caller Flaherty. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Brandon the Coach Perry. Brandon, what's happening, my friend?
What's up, Pat? Looking to get into these great topics that we have tonight. A couple of ones that are inspired by fans, so I hope they're watching.
Yes. We're an interactive sports talk show. We don't just talk to you guys. We listen as well. So make sure you tune in every week on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. If you want to catch us every week, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Comeback Sports. You can also take a look at our Twitter handles down at the bottom of the screen there, as Brandon's pointing out. We always tweet out the links, and we tweet out a lot of other good stuff on our Twitter handles as well. So let's get right into it as usual here on Comeback Sports. Our first topic of the evening is the J.J. Watt contract. J.J. Watt is going to be signing with the Arizona Cardinals. It's a 2-year, $31 million deal after he was released by the Houston Texans. Watt was slated to be one of the top defensive players that was going to be available this offseason. I just think a lot of people were shocked by the amount of money in the contract for sort of an aging defensive lineman. Brandon, what do you think?
To be honest, I'm not shocked about the money. I think a team would be willing to pay that guy that much because he's going to come in and not only affect your defense right away, but he's also going to work out and help in the locker room and the community. Obviously, we've seen him raise millions of dollars for the Hurricane Harvey, believe it was in Texas. So, I mean, this guy is a great player, and he's somebody that you definitely want on your team. He's somebody that we're going to talk about in a couple of topics tonight because he'll be part of the modern day contract topic as well later in the show. But as far as this one, he's a great defensive end. I think now when you pair him up with Chandler Jones, I think Arizona arguably has one of the best defensive lines now in the NFL. Last year, they were already number one at pressuring the quarterback and sacking the quarterback. And now you add in a reigning defensive player of the year that is still just a scary guy coming off the edge. I mean, before Aaron Donald, and I would say Aaron Donald is currently the most dominant, scary defensive lineman in the NFL. Before Aaron Donald, it was J.J. Watt. It was J.J. Watt. And only recently, over the last couple of years, has Aaron Donald taken that mantle away from J.J. Watt. So I think he's still got a lot left in the tank. He's also rejoining forces with DeAndre Hopkins, and I think that's huge. And we saw that. So I think they played with the Texans. They played great together. There's great chemistry between those two. So I think that's going to help out in Arizona. And like I said, it's just going to help this defense just improve and get better. But I think he really was the number one defensive free agent out there that people wanted to get. He was the Deshaun Watson, per se, of the free agency on the defensive side. Deshaun Watson is probably the number one player that people are trying to acquire right now and on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. But I would say J.J. Watt was pretty close, to be honest, after Deshaun Watson, and especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, definitely one of the top guys. I was almost surprised that it was the Cardinals because the Cardinals already have a good defense, but I think what's going on right now, too, is that Arizona's looking at the rest of their division and saying, okay, the Rams are trying to boost up their offense. They just picked up Stafford, and they already have, their top two receivers locked up. They got a nice, young running back. They've had a good offensive line for a few years. They already have a good defense. So we need to stop the Rams offense in addition to trying to stop Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. If Russell says, a little foreshadowing to a future topic. So that division has good offenses, good quarterbacks now. So they're thinking about that in addition to looking at the fact that, their young quarterback, even though he was the first pick in the draft and got the most money of anybody in his draft class, he's still not on that huge quarterback number for the salary cap, so they can spend in other ways. And one of those ways is on the defense. So they're just trying to boost up their defense. It's sort of an arms race going on in the NFC West right now. I was a little bit surprised at the money, but it's also a short-term deal. It's only 2 years, but he got $23 million guaranteed. So I think that's the big thing. I would worry about Watt playing 16 games or even 12 games. He's gotten beat up. He's had injuries. For a while, he was really durable. And then he started becoming sort of the Rob Gronkowski, where it was like this elite player at his position, but constantly getting banged up. So you wonder if he's going to last a full season. Even if he plays, like I said, 12 to 14 games, that would be huge for this Cardinals team. Still a great player. Like you mentioned, not on the level of Aaron Donald anymore, but still a great player and definitely brings a veteran presence to that locker room. Certainly the Patriots were a team that a lot of people thought would try to go after J.J. Watt or some other teams like a Seattle or Chicago or something like that. But Watt landing in Arizona, certainly a good thing for Arizona.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair to question his durability. And it might be one thing at this point in his career where you might just rest him early in the season and then just try to play him later in the season, and especially if you think you're a playoff caliber roster, so that he's kind of peaking when it comes to the playoffs.